agenda for Wednesday, December 13, 2017. It is 6:30 PM, and we are at the room 320 of the Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road. I call the meeting to order. I make a roll call. To my far right, Member Wilma Engelman, our clerk Jim Akabachi. My far left, Associate Member Jake Morrison, Attorney Jen Kendrick, Carl Baptiste Sr., myself, Nazir Al-Khalasi, Chairman. And we have tonight present Town Engineer Charles Rowley and Town Planner Ken Buckland. We're waiting for Building Commissioner Dave Pequina. He should be here in a minute. We do have some preliminary business to do. We start with the minutes for November 8th. Somebody read the minutes?
I have read the minutes. I find them fine as presented. Therefore, I move we accept them as presented.
Do I have a second on the minutes?
I'll second it.
Second by Carl. All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain. Do you have that? Do you have the file?
It's all signed and in the folder.
All right, good. Jay Donegan, they're here? All right, that's good. So we'll table this to the end until they show up.
You have an email and
Yeah. When did they send it?
to January
Is this Wareham Marketplace?
Marketplace. That's correct.
That's this one, asking for a continuance until January 10th.
Correct.
All right.
Move to continue Jay Donegan to January 10th.
Second.
All right, we have petition 31-17 for a CO for J. Donegan Company at 2419, 2427 Cranberry Highway. We have an email to continue the public hearing for January 10. We have a motion by Jim, second by Jen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. So continue to January 10. That's a good thing.
Ready to go for 4517?
Yep. Public hearing 45-17, Richard McBride, 55 West Central. You want to come forward,
The
please?
zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on December 13th, 2017 at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Massachusetts, 02571, to consider petition number 45-17 for a special permit/variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 622, and Article 13, Section 1335 of the Wareham zoning bylaws, to Richard McBride, 55 West Central Avenue, Onset, Mass. 02558, seeking to construct a 16-foot by 6-foot addition to the existing front porch located at 55 West Central Avenue, Onset, Mass. That's on Assessors Map 1, Lot 752, in the Onset Village 2 zoning district.
Name and address for the record,
Richard McBride, 55 West Central Avenue, Onset.
ma'am.
Judith McVine, 55 West Central Ave, Onset.
All right. You want to tell us what you're trying to do?
Well, I'm hoping to extend the width of my front porch, which is now 5 feet by 6 feet. The length of, we have 16 feet along the front of my house, extending 16 feet and 6 feet away from the house. It'd be about 22 inches off the ground, exactly the same height as the existing porch I have now, which is just too small of an entryway for the front of my house.
Okay.
It will be used as a front porch and a sitting area.
Do you have a site plan for the building, surveyed plan?
See it.
No, I was unable to come up with a site plan. I went to the Plymouth office for the property, and all they were able to provide me was the plan that was at the permit office, actually, which just shows the dimensions of the property.
Okay,
It's the corner of First Street and West Central.
right, in order for us to do a special permit or a variance, we need a like surveyed plan by engineer, by land surveyor. Because we don't know what your setback is gonna be, or like the sizes, and so in order for
I
us.
had provided those dimensions on one of those drawings there, what I measured out the setback, but for, you know, for a porch that was gonna come for about 50, yes. On one of them, it should have I mean, there's a driveway running alongside of it, which is 12 feet, and to the sidewalk will actually be about 15 feet from where the porch is proposed to be to the sidewalk.
I understand, but when it's critical like this, it's very hard for the board to decide on a granting a variance or a special permit without having exact measurements.
You know,
Understand?
to me, for me to get a survey
Right.
would cost more than the porch is actually gonna cost me, and that's where, under my budget, it just didn't make any sense for me to do this, which I really would like to have, so I can come and go easily to my front door.
I totally understand, but it's hard for us to grant such thing. I want to run it by each member of the board. It's not my decision by myself.
I provided some pictures also that show the front of the house,
I showed the pictures.
and you can see where the porch would be, just extending along where my existing porch is.
I understand. What I'm trying to explain to you, if you had an acre lot, and we know you have plenty of setback, but in order for us to grant a special permit or variance, it has to be an exact measurement. So if you set back 10 feet and you're requiring an 8 feet setback, we have to put it in the conditions, otherwise it's useless. Let me just run it by the board, see how they feel about it.
When I had considered this, I did contact the permitting office, and they had mentioned those setbacks to me. And according to my plans and what I measured to the sidewalk and the end of my driveway, I'm well within the setbacks as they had requested me to be. So I was hoping that I could get some leniency here without having to go through a survey.
If you had a plenty of setback, they wouldn't have sent you to here.
No, the reason why I was sent here was that I have too
Density.
much structure on my property as it is.
Density, yeah.
And one thing I had done already is there was a garage, or I call it a barn, when I bought the house. It was really dilapidated, as well the house was. And I had that garage removed. So actually, there was more structure on my property than there is actually now when I bought the house. So that garage, which was 12 feet by 10 feet, has been removed. And it's just part of my driveway now. You know, not that I'm
right.
still, obviously still over the amount of structure that I could have to build more stuff on the property. But
Alright,
it's a small amount.
All right, so you're only asking for a waiver on the coverage?
Correct.
All right, okay. All right, let me just run it by the board. Wilma, what do you think?
He's only got a 45-foot frontage, and it calls for a 50-foot frontage.
It's an existing,
Yeah,
non-conforming.
but that's across the front. His setbacks, we don't know how much
That's all over here.
from the road that he is, and then he wants to add this extra, so,
Right, the set, as I see, when he applied for 16 by 6, right?
Correct.
And apparently he has enough setback, that's what the building inspector, he's only requesting a waiver from the coverage. It's Onset Village 20%, he's increasing it by 36.7 to 39%. But I don't understand why a deck would be a coverage, the water goes right through it.
I am not in the flood zone. I did have to,
Yeah, it's-
when I bought the house, I had it surveyed for
Even if you're in the
FEMA
flood,
zone,
isn't
and I'm at 24 feet.
Even if you're in flood, it's not our thing, it'll be conservation. All right, Jimmy?
I'm having a hard time understanding what you turned in. Even, I don't really, personally, I don't care if an engineer or a surveyor or a homeowner draws it. But if I had something that I could look at that showed your lot, your dimensions of your lot,
Yeah.
and your home on it, and the setback from the lot lines and where your deck is that I could look at, similar to what an engineer or a surveyor might draw, but, you know, I don't know if you're old enough to remember mechanical drawing.
I
You know,
do,
in
but
school, it was, you know,
I was
take out the ruler
struggling
and the
trying
tray.
to find those records
Yeah.
in City Hall here, Town Hall here, and at the Plymouth
Yeah,
County.
well, for me, if you could come in with a hand-drawn, the back of my lot is 65 feet, the front of my lot is,
Isn't that on one of these,
I don't see it, and if it is, it's beyond my ability to comprehend. So what I'm saying to you is, for me to vote on this, I'd like to see something that helps me understand what you're doing. I can't understand. I
isn't it
get-
on this right here, the
No.
dimensions of the property?
Yeah, that's the size of the lot, but that's not.
It's a,
how
excuse me,
size of
one
lot.
at a time, please.
So-
Go ahead, Jim.
So, yeah, the size of the lot, if you went online where you got that and printed that and zoomed in on it, you'd get those numbers and you'd be able to draw what I'm asking for. But I didn't bring my magnifying glass tonight, and it doesn't show your house on it, and it doesn't show the deck you're adding or the amount of deck you're adding, and that's what I need to see. That's me. That's my,
Okay, Jake?
I agree.
Jen?
Yeah, I agree.
Anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against this project? I hear none, so it's been custom and standards. Anytime you come for a variance, for coverage, setbacks, all this, we would like to see survey plan. Especially in an old lot like this, it'd be good to have for your records, for when you sell it. And I don't think it's a lot of money, but you should have it done. It'll show the
Should have it
setbacks, show your house on the lot. And it
Excuse me, would like a Google map type thing work?
No, we'd like a survey stamp with the land surveyor. We will give you till January 10 to come back. If you need more time, we could give you this. And unfortunately, we have to be fair, we've been requesting this from every applicant, so we have to be consistent. And for us to be comfortable, as you notice, everybody agrees, we can't just do it, especially a small lot like this. If you had an acre, probably would fly, but something like this is hard.
So
So-
I need to get a surveyor, is that what you're saying?
Surveyor, showing your house on the lot, and showing the proposed what you're doing.
Okay, well, do I have to have that done by January
No.
10th in order to extend my hearing for the next time, or do I have to reapply for another hearing?
No, same hearing, you can just, you think you could get it done by January 10? We could send you back to 24th. How long you
bring you
need?
into February if you need it.
I would like February anyways. I have no idea how long it would take to get a surveyor.
Not long.
And get the paperwork done
Why don't you shoot for the 24th
of
January?
January.
And
Could I
if you're
extend it
not
at some
done-
point
yeah,
if I
if-
can't make that?
We'll extend it again if you show us that you're working in that direction. We just need,
If you're not ready, you could send an email or drop off a letter like that previous hearing before you're saying, I'm not ready, just give me continuance, okay?
Thank you.
All right, very good, so, the matter 4517, continue to
so moved.
the 24th, January 24th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jen, all in favor to continue to January 24th, 2018, say aye.
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 Aye, oppose, abstain. Okay, Ramos Realty Trust, 300 Grand Charlie Road.
Can I have those back in?
Yeah, we need all that file.
Oh, not your whole thing.
He's trying to go home already?
Yes. Yeah,
It's been a long day.
he's sneaky like that.
One. Thank you, sir. You're gonna, thank you very much. The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on December 13th, 2017, at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 46-2017 2022-17 for a special permit/variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 621, and Article 13, Section 1335 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to Ramos Realty Trust, 300 Glen Charlie Road, East Wareham, Mass. 02538, seeking to construct an 816-foot living space addition and an 896-foot rear deck addition. I assume those are square footages. Located at 300 Glen Charlie Road, East Wareham, Mass. Assessors map 127, Lot C4, in the R130 zoning district.
All right, name and address, ma'am?
My name is Arlene Mason. I live at 14 Alfred Street, East Wareham, Mass.
What are you trying to do?
I'm just trying to put an addition on a house to extend to the rear. My problem is that the property comes back from the road on an angle. The property also abuts the high-tension lines on Glen Charlie Road. In order to put the addition in deck, it's going to take away the variance space that's required from the building to the boundary line.
Okay, I don't see a problem with it. Things like this, we've been granting because the bylaw is not written properly over there. But again, like I told the previous applicant, and the board has voiced their voice, we need in your case, we need an architecture plan, what you build in, and a surveyed plan.
Okay,
So you need a surveyor to put your house on the plan, showing the addition you're doing, and an architecture plan, what you're building. You're gonna need it anyway to build it, right?
yeah, but my son-in-law is the one that drew it out, who's a master electrician and stuff like that, whatever. And when we presented it to submitted the plans and whatever, we gave them everything they asked for, so
Right.
he drew out everything
I ge-
and what was going to be added on, what was the existing structure, the dimensions.
Right, that's, yeah, but this plan doesn't show it, and it has to be signed by
There was-
registered land
there was-
surveyor.
Has to be a surveyor.
Right. And you need the house plans that you're gonna build. Do you have those? The actual house, actual addition?
He was, I saw them, I knew he drew them.
Okay,
Should have been submitted with the paperwork that was there.
well, they're not here, but the most important one is the survey plan,
Okay.
all
I
right?
know he didn't do the survey, I know he drew it out himself. He measured everything and drew it out himself, so
It does look good. But it doesn't have the stamp.
it doesn't have the stamp, okay.
So, as I told the previous applicant, we'll make sure the board agrees, all of us agree on this. Board, what's your input? Wilma, if you have,
I just have one question. Isn't 300 Glen Charlie Road near where they're going to put in the solar panels?
I don't think so.
Glen Charlie, Charge Pond, they don't, the solar, not Glen Charlie.
No.
No.
The right side of the highway, different area.
300 Glen Charlie abuts the
Yeah.
high-tension lines
Yeah,
on Glen Charlie Road,
Right before, the house before Wayne Lake Shores.
between Maple Park and the
Yeah.
high-tension lines.
it's
where it is.
irrelevant where it's located. Anyway, Jim, quick, we have a long night.
No, I'm good.
No questions.
Jen?
Yeah.
Carl? How much time you need, ma'am, to come back with the plan?
He's busy, why don't we say the end of January?
24th?
Yep,
Very, very well. On the matter of 46-17, Ramos Realty Trust, 300 Glen Charlie Road. The applicant requests a continuance to come up with a surveyed plan and architecture plans
That is.
till January 24th, 2018.
So moved.
Moved by Jim, so I have second. Second by Jan.
okay.
Second.
Yes, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you. Sorry to make you come back, but we gotta be fair to everybody, ma'am.
47-17.
I understand.
We gotta
Thank
treat
you.
everybody equally poor, or something like that.
All right, 47-17, Kelly and Chris Sacha, 6 Wareham Lakeshore Drive.
Okay. Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on December 13, 2017, at 6:30 PM in Room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 47-17 for a special permit/variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 621, and Article 13, Section 1335 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to Kelly and Chris Socha, 6 Wareham Lake Shores Drive, Wareham, Mass. 02571, seeking to construct 2 new front entrance additions located at 6 Wareham Lake Shore Drive, Wareham, Mass. Did you hand any of these out to anybody?
No.
Okay. This is the official one, we'll keep that in.
All right, name and address for the record.
You want one?
Christopher Socha, 6 Wareham Lakeshore Drive, Wareham.
And lady, your name, please.
Kelly Sosha,
There you go.
All right, same address.
same address.
Very well. Wanna proceed to tell us what you're planning to accomplish?
Hi, yeah, so we just recently moved to East Wareham, and this is a very small home, and we're making improvements. To the right, I don't know what you guys have in front of you. Do you have this picture?
We may,
That's it.
we're
We have an
looking.
existing bulkhead that we want to build because my laundry is in the basement. So we want to build a entranceway over the existing foundation, which is the bulkhead. And then a matching front door to the left side, and everything will look the same. But you guys have the picture in front of you. I also provided copies of the site plan and a stamped copy of the land survey, from New England Land Survey. Also given you copies, or I don't know if she included them or not. She didn't know if she was going to, but I have colored copies here of all our neighbors. We live on an island. It's yeah, dead end, what do you call it, peninsula?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we only have 4 neighbors. So I have colored copies here, photos of their homes. We've spoken to them all. Nobody has a problem with it. Everybody that in our neighborhood has pretty much like the same type of entranceway with a door in the front of their house. So because we live on a pond, what you're looking at there, if you have what we drew and what we turned in, is actually the back of our house, right?
Street side.
The street side. So,
Street side or non-street side?
It's a street side,
but that's the back of our house.
that's the back, they call it the back of the house, I guess, because the bulkhead's there. There was no front door to the street side. We put a front door on there, and we're just looking to put a small porch with some stairs to enter the house.
Okay, so what you're doing, just put on,
Actually, I have additional copies of this. If you guys don't have it, I brought
We got it,
8
we got it.
copies.
We have it.
Oh, you do have that, okay.
so you're changing the windows or removing the windows,
We're just putting smaller ones in.
smaller windows, and you add in a couple of dormers with doors,
Yes,
the front steps.
correct.
All right, very well. Okay. Wilma, do you have comment?
So you want to add 2 front doors?
Well, because when you're looking at this photo and to the right side, this is already existing bulkhead, so it's concrete that this.
basement.
Yeah, so we want to make it look nice and have them equally match.
Need a door. We want to put a door with a framed-in doorway there, so that goes down into the basement.
Because right now I have to pull up a bulkhead to go down to do my laundry. So we can take that bulkhead doors off and have a nice entranceway to match the left entranceway into the house.
Okay, then that goes down into the cellar. But
Correct.
what's going to be besides the bulkhead behind this door? I mean, does it lead to like a,
It's attached to the house.
huh?
It'll be attached to the house.
Yes.
You open the door, Wilma, and you go down the stairs.
Yeah, they call
No,
them
no.
dog houses. People, I don't know if you've
Right.
never seen one, but instead of having, something that doesn't look nice, like a
Right.
bulkhead to go into your home, they build what's called a dog house that looks just like this, that you can actually, there'll be storage and stuff, and then you go down into the cellar. So I'm not having to pull a bulkhead open every time I go down
It'll
in
keep
and
our,
out to do
it'll keep our basement
laundry.
warmer.
And the other one, the existing entrance, you're just making it look nice.
Yeah, they're just gonna match on.
They're
Is
gonna
that-
match.
Is that an entrance, or is it a picture window now? A double window? What,
No,
wait.
it's a doorway.
This is
okay,
the house.
this picture is hard
I
to,
should have had this picture too.
I have it.
Yeah,
But
you
we've
can just
already pulled
about
the
see it.
permit and have done the work to take out all these windows. So there's no windows there anymore.
But that's not a door.
It's gotta
There
be
is
a
now.
door, that's why we
Okay.
have to pull a permit separate. We already replaced this porch to make it,
The picture doesn't show, the picture is showing me a window. My question was where the window is. And you said no, where the
oh,
door
sorry,
is.
yeah, so no, yeah. So this will be one matching thing.
So where the
This
window is and the
bulkhead.
door will be.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jake? Right.
I have no questions.
Jen?
I don't have any questions.
Anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against? I hear none. Okay, want to move to close that public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second to close it?
Second.
All in favor to close, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain. Okay, the question is now, if the board feel is not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood, we could treat it under section 1335, I believe. It's Article 1335, we could treat it as a special permit. What's the wishes of the board?
I don't feel it's detrimental.
Special permit? You feel it's special permit? All right, I have a motion by Carl to get relief from Article 13, Section 1335 to be a special permit.
I'll
All-
second that motion.
Second by Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose,
Opposed.
oppose, abstain. It carries. Okay, next motion.
You just have to put a cement pylon in front from Ocean State,
A cement pylon?
from Ocean State.
All right, we gotta continue. Oh, no, we're not done.
Oh,
All right, on
no.
the special permit, what's the wishes?
You know, I know we've made other people come back with drawn plans, et cetera, et cetera. I think these people provided adequate information for us to make a it's a different, they're showing us everything we need to see. I don't have a problem with this at all.
The doghouse sits on the existing foundation and the door is there.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't,
So,
we would ask if it needed. All right, on the special permit, what's the wishes?
I just have one thing about the two doors in the front. Anybody going by or anybody coming, it would more or less look like it's a duplex more than a.
It does.
And,
so I don't know if you noticed.
No, ma'am,
but
no,
it's- oh, I'm
no
sorry.
more
Yeah,
discussion.
it's only
Can't discuss no more.
500 feet.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Wilma, but we have to, public hearing is closed, we move forward with the.
yeah.
Any wishes on the special permit?
I'm good with it.
Okay, I have a motion.
To grant. A motion to grant.
Okay, based on the findings that it's not substantially detrimental to the neighborhoods,
But also that it's not a substantial increase in the nonconformity,
correct?
which I think is limited to setback. It doesn't seem that there's hardly any increase in any nonconforming setback here. If it is, it's de minimis. So I would find that it's not substantially increasing the nonconforming nature, and it's not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Okay, so that's your second?
That's my second.
Your second, okay, very well. Any conditions for that?
None.
Okay, I'll just put a condition,
Standard conditions.
standard condition to follow up with any boards, Board of Health, or anything you need to do, that's not our department, so whatever you have to do. with
Any
building
conditions to a
department.
special permit?
Yeah. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose,
Opposed.
abstain, it carries, thank you very much. You're good.
Special permit, the vote was
4-1-0.
4-1-0. And Well, we've got this in our hands. Where's the, they didn't put little flags for where we sign.
Oh, sorry about that.
I found it without the,
Do we have to wait for something, or can we go, or how does this work?
correct me if I'm wrong, you gotta wait 20 days for anybody that's aggrieved with our decision, then go get your permits and live your life.
Building department,
We
will-
don't need anything right now from you.
From us, you're done.
Happy holidays.
thank
You
you.
as well.
Thank you.
This is the signing copy. I'm gonna send it to Wilma first. These are the ones coming back. Anything else? This is the one coming back from, this is coming back, okay. Yep, yep. And this was that social, right? Grant. 410. Okay. And there was some, yeah, yeah. Sign and pass, please.
That's why we get it.
Is this McMullen
No,
that's
He got it.
lining it up to attack us? Yes.
She's getting
He's
it
got
right
his
now.
crew all ready. Okay.
All right, petition 48-17, Deborah and Joseph McMullen, 70 Longwood Ave.
I'm gonna read this, but I'd like to wait till I get that in here and this off the table before we get deep, okay? The zoning board of appeals will hold a public hearing on December 13th, 2017 at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 48-17 for a special permit/variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 622, Article 13, Section 1335 of the Wareham zoning bylaws, to Deborah and Joseph McMullen, care of Lockwood Architects, P.O. Box 95, Onset, Mass. 02558, seeking to raise a single-story detached accessory structure and replace it with a two-story attached addition with living space above and office space below, located at 70 Longwood Avenue, Onset, Mass. Assessors map 1, lot 746 and lot 747 in the Onset Village 2 zoning district.
All right,
This
very
is
well.
this one, we're done with this one?
Name and address for records, please.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bill Lockwood, Lockwood Architects, with your Debbie and Mullen, the owners of the property.
Okay, wanna proceed, let us know what you're doing.
Okay, there's an existing house on the property, and there's also an existing accessory structure, which is a garage-like structure, but not actually used as a garage. That's, the accessory structure is proposed to be demolished. An addition is proposed to be constructed. Mrs. McFarland is facing pending accessibility issues, and there's a desire, a need and desire to let her into her house, so one of the main pluses of the addition is an elevator, so that she can get from the grade into the house and to the second floor. So a new bedroom will be constructed on the second floor. Mr. McMullen does tax preparation and does receive clients in his house. And we'll be doing more of that. And an office space for him, for his home profession, being created on the first. The outside decks on the property are not currently at elevation with the existing house, and so they're supposed to be demolished and raised up to the elevation of the existing house, as is an enclosed porch on the street side, which is a step down that is proposed to be, or proposed to be raised and elevated to match the other as well. The main level of the first floor. The front entrance steps likewise need to be raised since the floor is being raised. slightly from my neighbors.
It's,
38% to 37.5%. And the impervious cover is also reduced, although that's still meets in compliance. Setbacks, which were challenging, in the existing condition, in fact, when they bought the property, I believe, a portion of the accessory structure was over the property line, was cut back. So we are actually increasing the setbacks on all sides, all sides that were affected, being the east and south. And as such, I believe that we're not at odds with the neighborhood or at odds with the federal bylaws. We're moving in the direction of zoning, providing a benefit to the owners in the community, and hopefully having
Okay, very well. Okay, now that the shaded area, that's the existing, right? Like the grayish stuff.
Well, we have two different hatches on the plan. The wider hatch is the existing building. The tighter hatch is, depends on which one you're looking at. Sort of, then the heavy lines are the proposed.
Oh, right.
The wider shading is the existing structure that remains.
Okay, so in most instances, you're making the setback much better.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. And so you're seeking relief on a coverage as well as setback, because the addition extend, so it doesn't conform with setbacks, even though you're doing much better. It's conformity. Let's see. All right, Wilma.
In POV 2, apartments in mixed-use building is not allowed.
What's that?
Say that again, Ron?
It says here, apartments in mixed-use buildings. And if you go across the OB2, it's not allowed.
so what's the mixed use?
He's gonna have an office.
It's a home occupational. He doesn't need a special permit or variance. It's by right.
It says above the office space is going to be the living space,
It's their house.
with office space below.
Correct.
All part of the same residence.
Right.
I'm just,
Right, but there's a list of home occupational, like a bookkeeper, things like this. Even though, you could believe it or not, I had someone who did the hairdresser, but one person, he could do it. Bunch of little stuff you could do out of your house. Correct me if I'm right or wrong, or... Okay. Jim,
So, I'm good. Go ahead.
Ken, you wanna make comment?
No, it's just the architectural plans identify the addition as a proposed one-bedroom addition, and it should identify it as a two-story.
So it should say proposed two-story, one-bedroom addition, right?
Right.
All right, we could do this in the conditions if granted. Or one of the plans, maybe you could write them and initial it, the one we put on record.
I believe if you look at the other plan, the other architectural plan, it clearly shows two stories. So we would have to do it. So
He's not arguing with what the plan shows, he's correcting what the words say.
it's only one bedroom.
Wants to say two-story. Already has to say it. Yeah, we'll do this for the plans recorded, and you could initial it. Jake?
No questions.
Jan?
No questions.
No?
Is there an actual decrease in each of the nonconformities?
Yes,
There's a decrease in each of the nonconformities.
yes, the setbacks are increased, decreasing the nonconformity. Lot coverage is decreased, decreasing the nonconformity.
Is there any nonconformity for which there's an increase in the nonconforming nature?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was following.
There's one corner of the addition is an increase because, you know, but it's irrelevant for him all decreasing.
But I don't believe that's a nonconformity, it may be an increase or reduction in the setback, but it's not.
Right, yeah,
I just
see
have
what you're saying.
one more question.
yeah.
When I read it, and maybe I didn't listen to what I was reading, I know you're tearing something down. Are you tearing everything down or most everything?
No, sir, just the accessory structure.
Oh, okay, so the house is staying, and the accessory structure, like I said, I wasn't listening, I was reading, I wasn't,
Last page of the booklet,
yeah, I got it now, I got it.
and the
I got it.
decks are being demolished.
He tearing this.
Yep, I get
this,
it now,
this,
that's what
this,
it was
okay.
confusing, it was pulling at me, but now I get it.
All right.
Yeah, rip that down, yep.
Anyone in the audience want to speak on favor or against? I hear none. Okay, let's move to close it.
So moved.
Do I have a second to close it?
Second.
All in favor, to close public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so a couple of things, we're gonna
I don't think so.
first decide if it's a special permit or a variance. So we need to grant him a relief from Article 13, Section 1335 first. So does the board feel it's substantially not detriment to the neighborhood to grant him, to treat it as a special permit?
Based on the questions posed by Jan earlier, I think we're clearly in special permit territory.
Okay, so somebody can make a motion?
I make a motion to grant a special permit based on the plans as presented with the small note that Ken brought up about notating that it's a two-story structure.
All right, so we make the first vote, so treating it as a special permit. So the vote, a motion by Jim, do I have a second?
For the special permit.
Yeah, for the 1335, Section 1335.
Second.
Second by Jen, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain.
Opposed.
Opposed by Wilma, it carries. Now, on the special permit, how's the board feel?
Again, I'm ready to move in favor of granting a special permit.
Based on the findings?
Based on the, findings that it's not detrimental to the neighborhood, it's a reduction in the non-conforming nature of the property,
And the standard condition.
and with the standard conditions applied for a special permit.
All right.
That's
Okay.
my motion.
Right, and we're just gonna, that's his motion, I would like to add, to be built according to the plan drafted by J.C. Engineering dated 10/26/2017, surveyor plan, and architectural plan
Can I
draft
have that date again, please?
10/26/2017, architectural plan drafted by
Longwood.
William Lockwood, and it's dated. when did you-
10/5/17.
10/5/2017, right? That's the last time was the, okay, with a little correction on the plan, on the first page that says proposed one-bedroom addition, to be corrected by the architect, Mr. Lockwood, to reflect proposed two-story, one-bedroom addition. You get that, well, Bill?
Proposed two-story addition.
Proposed two-story, one-bedroom addition. Okay? So, you just gotta bring it to the building department. You bring it to the building department with the correction when you, so do I have a second for this? Was the motion was presented by Jim, right?
Correct.
Do I have a second? Second by Carl. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Oppose? Opposed by Wilma, abstain. So 410 carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all your hard work.
All right. 49-17, Leon Godet Jr., 2 Benjamin Street.
Let's
You
get
want to
this.
sign the decision first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get Wilma's on there. That was McMullen, right?
Right, 48-17.
410. Gaudette is on deck. You Gaudette on deck. Thank you. Here you go. I'm going to read this while we're signing the last one. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on December 13th, 2017, at 6:30 PM in Room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition number 49-17 for a special permit/variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 621, and Article 13, Section 1335 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to Leon Gaudette Jr., 2 Benjamin Street, East Wareham, Mass. 02538, seeking to construct a new 8-foot by 16-foot addition located at 2 Benjamin Street, East Wareham, Mass. Assessors Map 129, B5, Lot 67, in the R130 zoning district.
All right, name and address for the record, please.
Leon Gaudette Jr., 2 Benjamin Street, East Wareham, Mass. 02538.
Okay, just let us know what you're trying to build.
Well, I'm just trying to build a room to the left side of my house. My mother-in-law recently lost her home, and we hope to provide a room for her until such time as she passes on. And after that, we're going to just turn it into a dining room.
Okay. One second.
So we got a setback issue?
So you just add in a room?
Yes.
Right, okay. Is this like extending the non-conformity? Does it fall in extending the non-conformity?
It does. He's intensifying a pre-existing non-conforming structure.
All right, very well. So just a regular bedroom, just add in a bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And that's Benjamin Jr., surveyor. Okay, Wilma.
The back setbacks on this addition is only 8.6. It should be 10. It's got the house. I don't understand. No, forget it. I'll listen.
No questions, thank you.
Jake?
No questions.
Jen?
I don't have any questions.
Paul? Ken,
Overhang.
wanna have any
No
input?
questions.
Charlie?
Just a question of the applicant, whether or not he's discussed any of this with the Board of Health, because adding a bedroom means the septic system might have to be upgraded, that's all.
I'm sure when it comes up, he's gonna have to confirm. It doesn't relieve him.
He'll need a sign off from them to get a building permit, that's all I'm saying.
Right.
Right. Now I'm starting to look at this plan a little bit more, and it would appear to me, looking at this plan, that there's a fence erected into Lot 45 and Lot 44. I don't know it's a stockade, it's an existing stockade fence? Is that your fence? It would be to the northwesterly side of your property. If I was standing on the street, it would be on the left. If I was standing in the house looking at the street, it would be on my right.
That was built by my neighbor.
That was built by your neighbor?
Yes.
Okay. So that's their fence, not yours?
I've never put up a fence there. Every fence there has been built by my neighbors.
Okay. And so, when I look at this plan, it appears to me that you have an existing shed that encroaches onto your neighbor's yard and an existing screen house that encroaches onto your neighbor's yard. Is that correct?
No.
So this black line that I see drawn on this plan, is that incorrect?
It appears to be that shed is not on my neighbor, as far as I know. I mean, the fence was there. The shed was there when I moved in.
Yeah.
Every
It's probably
structure here
existing.
was there when I moved in.
The shed and the screen house been there,
Yes,
right, when you bought the land.
correct.
Yeah, it's an existing, so it's up to the neighbor to move it.
Move what, the fence or the shed?
It's up to these people to tell them move it.
It's up to them to say move it, and they're not here saying move it.
Did you, when you went to building department, did they mention you had to go to Board of Health for expanding your septic?
No, they didn't. But I had the septic installed, and it was upsized from existing. It was built for a two-bedroom, and he built it for a three.
Yeah.
So
I'm
it
sure
should-
it's gonna
it should
come up when you
conform.
go for building permit. The Board of Health's gonna have to sign it.
We should conform to that.
Is there anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against? I hear none. All right, so let's move to close it.
So moved.
Do I have a second to close public hearing?
Second.
Second by Carl, all in favor to close, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain. All right, on the relief for a special permit on Article 13, Section 1335, does the board believe it's a special permit or a variance?
I'm gonna let somebody else talk this time, because I'm still pretty gray on this thing.
Jen?
I mean, is it a substantial increase in the nonconformity? I mean,
I don't think it is substantial increase.
Arguably not.
Right. I mean, most of these houses there are like that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the neighborhood and the street and everything, so I kinda get it. It's a 5,500 square foot lot.
Okay, so I recommend we grant a relief on Article 13, Section 1335, and treat it as a special permit. Somebody want to make that motion?
No, I don't wanna make the motion. I won't vote against it, but I won't be the moving party.
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion by Jen, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Carl, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
No.
Okay, so 4-1-0. All right, then, okay, so, on the special permit, on the addition, what's your findings? Jim?
No comments.
Jen? Carl?
I don't find this detrimental.
All right, so do you make a motion to grant it because you think it's not detrimental,
I
substantial?
make a motion to grant the special permit. I don't feel it's detrimental to the neighborhood.
All right, with the standard conditions, and according to plans drafted by Robert Brayman Jr., dated 10/17/2017. And with the, of course, with standard condition, that means if you have to go to Board of Health, you have to, or whatever, conservation, whatever you have to do. Do I have a second on that? Second on Carl's motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose?
No.
Abstain, 410, carries, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Get that, that's Benjamin Street, right?
Yep.
John and Jacqueline Bureau, 6 Priscilla Ave.
Huh? No, that's the one they just had. Oh. See ya.
There you go, Jim. Thank you. Thank you, Jan.
Here you go, Wilma.
50-17.
Is that Benjamin? You want me to put that back in here? Yeah. We got anything else to go back in on Benjamin?
Just a decision.
Just the decision that she's signing. The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on December 13, 2017, at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition 50-17 for a special permit/variance from the requirements of Article 6, Table 621, and Article 13, Section 1335. Seems to be a very popular set of articles this evening. Of the Wareham zoning bylaws to John C. and Jacqueline Burrows, 2 Priscilla Avenue, East Wareham, Mass. 02538, seeking to raise an existing dwelling and reconstruct a new residential structure in the same footprint located at 6 Priscilla Avenue, East Wareham, Mass. Assessors map 124, lot 54, in the R130 zoning district.
Okay, sir, name and address for the record, ma'am.
John C. Burrow, number 2 Priscilla Avenue, 538.
Okay, just for the record, Jan Kendrick is out. She must have went to the bathroom. All right, Jake was set on this matter. Jake Morrison was set on
Do
this
we have
matter.
that other one signed yet?
Yeah, we gotta wait for her. All right, just wanna let us know what you planning to do?
I bought the property.
Just a 1 minute, Jen Kendrick back on the board, so she'll sit on this. Okay, go ahead.
I bought the property 7 years ago with the intent to improve it and make it a livable structure. When I bought it, the town has recommended that it needs to be structurally sound or demoed. And when it got to the point where I looked at it to figure out what I should do and what I can do, the demo recommendation came to me. So what I've done now is I've got a set of plans for a new dwelling, which will be built in the same footprint as the existing dwelling. It's a 1-bedroom dwelling. Was originally built, from my records, that was built in the late 30s, maybe early 40s. It was built on cedar posts, which were not recommended by the building inspector downstairs. And so I've had engineer came in, and I have a septic system design, and I have the lot plan, and the new existing building. I don't know what else I need to tell you.
All right, we understand what you're trying to do. Your lot is 2,850 square feet, right? Small lot?
It's 30 by 100, yes.
30 by 100, okay. So bottom line, is tearing down the old house, put in a new house. Your septic complies?
Yes,
The Board of Health accepted it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, very well. Do you have architecture plan for the house?
Yes, I have.
Can we look at it quick? While you're digging it out, Wilma, do you have a comment?
I'm sorry, I don't have 2 copies.
That's okay.
Okay.
The only thing is, this site plan just seems like, it says 50.18 feet, and then it's got 30 in front. Now, even, and then it's got 44.82. I mean, that still is only 94, not 100 by 30. So, I mean, and,
You're talking about the square footage of the lot?
yep. I mean, it's marked right there. But the other thing is what I'm saying is, it says, the dwelling in the same footprint. Well, it really doesn't, on the site plan, it doesn't look like the,
Right, what he's doing is straightening it in the lot, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You're moving it to the, pretty much to the middle of the lot.
Not quite
No.
in the middle.
Not like
Yeah, we're just.
40/60, 40/60.
On the side that's the narrowest is the side that is next to my property where I live.
Right,
And I gave my neighbor the 10-foot on her side.
right. And the other one, you probably have a foot, you're making it 6 footer, 6 feet.
Yes, 6
All
foot,
right, and the other one,
it's only 10 foot.
you have it 10 feet.
The house is only 14 feet wide.
Okay. All right, Jim. I've got 'em right here, thank you. You wanna say anything?
I've seen it, I've read it, I've looked at it all. I kind of get what he's doing. My one and only question, which really doesn't fall under our jurisdiction, but I'm still curious, what's going on with the septic there?
You got
Is
proof?
it, you're gonna put a new system in? Is it town sewer? What is,
There was no existing system there when I.
it was an old 55-gallon drum with some stones in it? Yeah. And so you're gonna put in a real septic system, and it fits on the lot somehow for a one-bedroom?
I have Adam's,
but where's his?
Yeah, I got it.
you need a copy of my accepted plan?
No, that's really not, we're zoning. We're not Board of Health, but I couldn't help but be curious and wonder. So you're good on that. It was more curious than
There was one,
anything else.
once, they've got a full cellar underneath the house, because when they put the septic in, they put it in the back of the house and they raised it up on the ledge, so they made a full cellar. Originally, my thought was a half cellar, but now they're gonna,
Full basement.
they're gonna have a full basement. So in the front of the house, there'll be a walkout.
So you don't have a full foundation?
Yes, it'll be a full foundation.
No, you don't have one now.
No, it's on cedar posts right now.
Yeah, which is a no-no. That guy back there said no. No, okay.
All right, Jake?
No questions.
Jen?
I don't have any questions.
Bob?
I don't have a problem with this plan.
All right, anyone in the audience want to speak in favor or against? Okay, you want to come forward, please?
Yes. My name is Jocelyn Allen. I reside at 344 Plymouth Ave, approximately 4 houses up from the Burrows. A little history, I've lived in my present residence for 2 years. Prior to that, I lived for 10 years, a quarter of a mile down the road on Plymouth Ave. Prior to that, I spent every summer of my life at that same property. My family first came to the area that they're in the 20s. I think that the property that the Burrows built has been an absolute positive benefit to the neighborhood. Most of those houses I hung in when I was a kid. Their gardens, the respect that they show for the property and for nature is very obvious, and I am fully confident that they will show the same respect to the pond and to the area when they build this property. So I just wanted to let you know, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the community, and I love that they're looking to preserve some of the character of these small little cottages that went up. Some of them were, purchased through Sears. So I hope you'll approve it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir?
I want to speak in opposition.
Okay, want to come forward? Name and address?
My name is John Manuel. I live at 312 Plymouth Avenue, East Wareham, 02538. I am directly behind the Burrows house.
Yep.
If he puts this house up any higher than what it is now, it's going to completely block the view of the lake from my house.
We have pictures.
Okay, so you're talking about view thing.
Yes, Mass General Law 40, I believe it is, says that cannot obstruct
That's a house,
views or vistas.
that's their house that they constructed. So we have lots of views.
What law is that, sir?
Mass General Law 40.
It's in your, about 13.
You want to sit over there, talk to us from there, please? Yeah, from that microphone is fine.
I took it off of your letter, the bylaws, Article 1335. It talks about the impact reviews.
Are we talking about, your husband and wife?
Yes.
Your husband is
Elizabeth,
your husband is referring to Mass General Law 40?
well, it's,
And you're referring to the Wareham zoning bylaws, is that
right,
correct?
so I did, yeah, and then as provided in Mass General Law 40.
As provided in
40
Mass...
Section C.
We copied that right off your letter.
Oh, okay. So, I'm real unfamiliar with any law that prohibits... Could you read it to me again, because it...
If you look at 1335 F, Jim, I believe what they're saying is that it speaks to considerations that we should give in determining whether something is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood or not. So anyway,
But where does it say you can't block a view?
it doesn't, in 1335 F does not say that. It identifies views and vistas.
I didn't think it said
Impacts
that.
on views and vistas as a consideration.
Okay,
It's
okay.
one of many considerations. I'm not familiar with anything in general law 40A.
Okay. How high your house is right now, you think, Mr. Boro, how high is it right now?
I don't have a measurement from what it was up for. The new house is 3 or 4 feet higher than what it is.
Yeah, but that's
And
not.
you mentioned, is this their house? Can you please come forward? So this is their house,
Yes,
and where's your house?
I'm right here. I'm in my yard.
They're under the road,
And this is the house that he built previously that was going to be 3 or 4 feet higher. No,
who built?
When
one
he,
at a time.
when he originally built that house, he told us it was gonna be 3 or 4 feet higher. Nobody complained about the variance at that time, because it was not gonna be a gigantic house. If you look at that. That's a one-story house.
Okay, and the house they built in, it's a one-story as well. I mean,
Yeah.
the gables.
And like previously, my family.
Right, but isn't that, but this house is, it's flush with the road. His house is...
No, no.
What house?
Are you under the road? How,
My roof of the house is existing right now is below road level.
right.
How about
Okay.
your first floor? What's the...
What are these things that we're looking at?
Your first floor, your only story, it's a one-story house,
This is
correct?
the one he wants to tear down.
Wait a minute, don't want to have crosstalk.
Just one at a time so we don't get confused. Okay, but his house right now, the roof is flush with the road, pretty much. If he's gonna go, we could put restriction if he goes 3, 4 feet higher, so he's gonna be as high as the fence. Because I think he's a good 6, 7 feet under the street there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, yes,
Now, this house is higher because it's not under, it drops dramatically.
But he hadn't built anything yet, right?
Excuse me.
This is the house he wants to do.
Yeah, built tear down, yeah.
Tear it down, it's right here, see it?
Uh-huh. What's this place got to do with it?
So it doesn't,
that's the house he's in now.
they're taking a picture from that house. This is the house, it's under the street, he's gonna bring it up, so pretty much to here. And they're here, they're from their house. So,
What they're saying is if it's as tall as this house, they won't be able to see it.
well, as tall as this house becomes a 2-story house.
Yeah,
The house he's in right now was built as a one-story house.
I don't know, I wasn't.
So if he builds anything as high as that, I'm not gonna see anything.
Well, I'm sure we could restrict this. We weren't there when this was built, so I can't
Oh,
say it.
I'm not blaming you.
Right. But, again, as I say, he's under the street a good 6 feet.
If he
Right.
puts a foundation, full foundation above ground,
Well,
and then a house, it's going to be the same height as this house.
well, we could restrict it, that it's gonna, his frontage gonna be on Priscilla Ave, so we restrict the height from Priscilla Ave, from down that dirt road. That's Priscilla Ave. So, and he's proposing from Priscilla Ave eight, 7, let me see. That's the basement, so he's proposing 8 feet and 5/4 to the collar ties, so 13 and another 3, 8, and it's 16 feet from Priscilla Ave,
16 feet
from
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Yeah, that's what they got here.
Is that the way it's gonna be, John? The foundation is gonna start at street level of Priscilla? Priscilla?
No.
No.
Okay.
Foundation is
No, so, let's, just direct your questions to us, you answer to us. So is your foundation, where it's gonna be, the top of foundation, where it's gonna be on Priscilla Ave? How high from Priscilla Ave?
about
One,
almost
sir,
6 feet.
sir, that's the one at a time, please.
It's, right now,
I don't care what's right now, Priscilla Ave, the dirt road, right?
dirt road,
How high, top of foundation, how high from the road's gonna be?
how high from the road?
Yeah, from Priscilla.
Approximately 7 feet.
Oh, well, that's a problem. One time, 1 minute. So that's a 2-story house.
Excuse
Someone
me,
mumbling?
Well, If
Who's
you
mumbling?
folks in the background have a conversation, if we can hear it, we shouldn't, so take it
You
out in
could
the
just
hall.
raise your hand and we could listen to you. All right. He does have, your neighbor has a case. So basically, you're building a 2-story house. I'll get to you 1 second, ma'am. Don't worry. So you're doing a 2-story house if you're gonna be 7 feet. So you cannot come before us, say, I'm doing a 1-story house and put a 7-foot foundation.
He has to.
You see, right here, you're showing us, you put in a 5-foot foundation, and that's gonna get buried. Now you're saying gonna be 7 feet with the foundation above, but you plan showing foundation exposed about 18 or 2 feet at the most, not 7, right? If you show, show me.
He wants to
Come
sell.
forward, please. Consider that's Priscilla Ave, right? Now your foundation, you burying it and exposing about 18 inches or 2 feet. So, but you're telling us you want your foundation 7 feet, so your foundation's up here.
Okay.
Are you going on grade with your foundation or below grade?
Well, you gotta be at least 8 inches above the dirt road.
Is this plan drawn correctly or incorrectly?
It was changed with the plot plan when they did the septic, because of the height of the septic changed the height of the foundation. Originally, it was gonna be,
Well, let me see the septic plan quick. We have a long night, so let me look at your
Whose
septic.
pictures are these?
That's there.
Okay.
Give me that.
Does that septic plan require you to bring a lot of fill in?
not really a lot. They're gonna, everything that's gonna be used is from the lot.
Coming out, you're not have to gonna truck it in?
No.
You dig a hole, and you'll use the material out of the
Material
hole?
from the hole that's gonna be filled in.
Yeah, it's not raised septic, it's under the ground.
Right now, the house that is there.
I understand, but your septic is not a raised septic, it's in the ground.
Oh, yes, it's in the
Okay.
ground.
All right, so,
Raised as a hill.
so here your foundation is, you're writing 8 feet, here you're writing 5. But if you're saying it's gonna be exposed
Oh,
7 feet,
This is what I changed this here because.
that's fine if you bury it.
It goes,
But you're saying you wanna expose it 7 feet.
That puts the house higher.
So your concrete's gonna be like 13 feet, that's what you're saying. If 8 underground and 7 above, 13 feet, right?
I don't think that's what he,
I don't,
I don't think that's what he's doing, but I'm not
I understand it.
Okay, you sit back, please, can you just,
say
yeah,
one
go
more
ahead.
thing? Right now, the house that's there
this house.
is below ground level to my house next door.
I don't care what your house next door, from Priscilla Ave. How high from Priscilla Ave you gonna be? Top of foundation,
Top of foundation,
above Priscilla Ave.
about 7 feet.
Yeah, okay. So it's completely different than your plan, so we're gonna have to come back with different plans. Wanna sit down back on your seat, please, if you don't
Give
mind?
me back these pictures, or you
Who's
want
the
them?
lady in the audience who wants to
All
speak?
right, ma'am, you wanna come forward?
I think there's some additional facts that you need
You
to
you
consider.
need to come up and re-identify yourself for the record.
My name is
Yeah.
Castellan Allen, I spoke earlier. In fairness to both parties, I think there's additional facts that you need to take into consideration. Approximately 2 houses, correct me if I'm wrong, up from the subject house is a home owned by John Kelly that I believe is a 2 or a 3-story house. It's significantly higher than the roof line that's gonna be on this house.
I know, but it's, what's down the street is irrelevant to what we're talking about.
But it isn't,
I
because it's in
understand.
the general area. And then 2 more houses down, across the street, on the other side of Priscilla, is
Okay.
also a 2 or a 3. Their roof lines are gonna be significantly higher than what we're talking about here. So if you're gonna penalize them, you need.
We're not
before you- no,
penalizing-
Please, before you make that decision, all I'm saying is you ought to look at what's been approved. These are fairly new houses, to me, fairly new, I don't know, last 10 years. I think they should be
okay.
taken into consideration.
Thank you. We're not penalizing anyone here, we're just trying to be fair. If you wanna expose your foundation 7 feet above Priscilla Ave, so you gotta come back with the right plans. So you gotta show, I guess you gotta bury, you need 8 feet or 5 feet at least on the ground, so you gotta show at least 12 feet foundation. Your plans does not reflect what you're building.
What do you plan on
Okay?
having in the
It
basement?
doesn't, what?
What do you plan on having in the basement?
These are wetlands,
Whatever he has, it doesn't matter.
No, I just didn't know.
So so our concern, first of all,
So doesn't he have to go up?
Wilma, can
Okay.
we listen, please? So
No.
if you want to expose your foundation 7 feet, you gotta come back with the right plan, but does not mean we're gonna grant it to you. You understand? If you wish to continue today with what you have and expose your foundation 10 inches above Priscilla Ave, we could continue with those plans.
That's gonna change my whole septic.
Yeah, but your septic plan's underground, it's not elevated.
I think we need him to come back with a drawing that makes us understand better. I hate to make people come back because it involves expense, somehow or another, you gotta pay somebody to do something to bring, and I hate doing that, but I gotta tell you, right now, the waters are real muddy for me. Okay? I personally feel as though what you proposing to do may be an improvement to the neighborhood, would certainly be an improvement to the Wareham tax base, can't be taxed an awful lot on whatever that shack is that I saw in the picture. So anything you build would be taxed for more than that, would be better. But it's real muddy to me whether you're building at grade, above grade. I just don't know what you're doing, and I'd have to abstain at best at this point. I couldn't vote in favor.
Right now, my engineer, the one that designed my septic system, is telling me that when the septic system is graded on his side of the foundation towards the street, there's only gonna be 2 feet of foundation showing.
That's what we need to see in some kind of a drawing that's,
Okay, 2 feet, so,
Foundation showing.
so why you need 7?
Because of the
It
slope
goes
of the
down,
property.
yeah.
There's almost,
Well, you're gonna have to,
14 feet difference, 15 feet difference between one street and the other.
right, so that works in your favor, so you don't block the view. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? If you wanna raise it 7 feet, then put the house, then you way up in the air. You understand? And your plans does not reflect that. So you gotta pick and choose. If you wanna raise it 7 feet from Priscilla Ave, you gotta come back with the correct plan. But like, again, it doesn't mean we're gonna grant it to you. Your septic is below the ground, so it's not elevated, so it doesn't matter. So it don't matter if you build it on a slab, your house.
The septic would be higher than my floor.
I think, if I may,
Can you show the septic, please, to the engineer? Correct me, Charlie. Can you look at it quick, Charlie?
I'd like to see the building plans, too.
All right, show this. His elevation 64, and I think on top of the septic,
I'm thinking that it would do the board and this applicant justice to come back
right.
with somebody that's clearer on, no offense, sir, but you don't seem to be clear, or you don't seem to be just intimate with what's gonna happen. And we can't give you a vague, I can't make a decision, or the board shouldn't, in my opinion, make a decision on a vague presentation. We really need, I think you'd be well-served to bring back an
Go ahead.
expert.
Yeah, Charlie.
From what I see, Priscilla Avenue, the elevation is 60. At the back of the house, it's 62. So the septic system is between the back of the house and Plymouth Avenue. Plymouth Avenue is up at elevation 74.
Right.
But what he's doing is putting in a septic system that would be below grade where he's placing it.
What's the grading above the septic? What's the top of the leaching field?
It looks like it's going to be 68 at the top of the field.
Top of the field is 68. So he's gonna have to build a retaining wall at 62 or at 64, 10 feet from the house, from the back of the house, kinda, right?
So long as 15 feet away from the leaching field, you're not below the elevation of the top of the field, you're fine. It looks like you might make that. But the one question I had was, sir, are you proposing a walkout on
Yes, a walkout.
on the Priscilla Avenue side?
Yes.
That's why the foundation would be raised up to the 7 feet that you're hearing.
Right.
Raising it up 7, so you've got 7 feet of exposure on Priscilla Avenue would expose it substantially in the back and would raise the whole structure up that much more.
Right.
So I would agree that what he's saying he wants to do is not indicated clearly by these plans, and certainly not the building plans.
Right. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
So, you can come back, fix your plans. There's no guarantees the board will vote. But I would say that's the way to go. So we need you to come back with the surveyed plan showing the proposed top of foundation and the elevation. So you're gonna survey your land property.
Done.
You see how he's saying proposed 39 by 14? I wanna see proposed top of foundation, top of concrete, okay? And on top of concrete, I guess you're gonna put that same house. Then we'll make our decision from that. Okay? Is that good? Yes. All right, when do you wanna come back?
Is he requesting a continuance, or are we,
He is.
okay.
So when you like to continue this hearing till?
This is,
January 10, you have the survey plan for then?
Yes.
All right, so petition 50-17, requested by the applicant to continue until January 10, 2018. Do I have a motion for this?
so moved.
Do I have a second? Second by Carl. All in favor to continue January 10, say aye. Aye, oppose, abstain. Thank you, sir.
No. Thank you. You guys got anything to turn in from that end of the world? What did we do on 4917? Did we, I missed my notes.
Sorry, Nicole, yeah. It's amazing how miserable it's still.
4917 was granted.
Anyway.
It's been like 2.5, 3 weeks.
That was good, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This is just
That was 4102, wasn't it?
Everybody's been sick.
All right, 51-17, Kristen Monas, 8 Squaws Path.
Stick this in there.
Thank you. That's why I asked who was asking for it, thank you. I knew we had some kind of new thing that we were doing, but I couldn't vocalize it as quick as you walked over there and took care of it. Zoning Board of Appeals to hold a public hearing on December 13th, 2017, at 6:30 PM in room 320 of the Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, to consider petition 51-17 for a variance from requirements of Article 3, Section 340, and Article 3, Section 354 of the Wareham zoning bylaws to Christine R. Monast, 8 Scores Path, East Wareham, Mass. 02538, seeking to create an additional dwelling unit within the existing structure located at 8 Scores Path, East Wareham, Mass. That's on Assessors Map 18, Lot 1000A2, in the R130 zoning district.
All right, name and address, sir, and let us know what you're doing.
Jeff Monash, 8 Squaws Path. What we're trying to do is we have a 1,000 square feet unfinished area above our garage in the master bedroom. And we went through the building department and got approval to add a bedroom, a bathroom, a living area. And to come to this meeting was to add a kitchen area. And what we're trying to do is, my in-laws are getting really high up in age, and we're trying to move them in and help take care of them, and trying to give them, you know, kind of like their own little like house area. So they have their own independence, and we're just there to help.
Okay. Wilma.
This bedroom in the back is what he wants to add on. I mean, he's not showing measurements on this at all. I mean, I got one sheet of paper, I don't know if there's others. So it's no lot, no, just pointing that out, and that's, rest of it's up to you.
Okay.
Wilma, this is the plans
Oh,
right here. He wants to add this kitchen, but this is here already. Correct me if I'm wrong. The bathroom here, the stairs are here. This, it says storage unit, but he wants to put this kitchen here. But not this. There's a bedroom here, we're not discussing it. That's an
What he's asking permission to do is within the wall, an existing set of walls.
right here, yeah. Put that kitchen right
Seeking
here.
to create an additional dwelling unit within the existing structure. He wants he wants to put another apartment.
Well, once you put a kitchen, it's considered an apartment, kinda.
Well, it's asking that an additional dwelling unit.
Correct.
So that's to put an accessory apartment.
That's why we're here.
You're not gonna rent it out. It won't be rented.
No.
It's just for the in-laws.
Just for the in-laws.
Still go.
Right, but the way I see it, it does not, it's in the second floor, right?
Correct.
And it does not have, it's what the entrance is, using the same entrances.
If you look at the plan, the set of stairs goes down and
Right.
has an entry door in the garage.
Right.
And then the other end of the room goes into the main house.
Right. What I'm trying to say, it doesn't look from the outside, there's two houses there.
No, it's just a single family
Right.
house, it's above the garage.
That's what I'm trying to say.
What kind of home is it? Is it a cape? Is it a colonial? Is
It's,
it a ranch? Is it a,
it's kind of
it's a
like
Moffedite?
colonial with a two-car attached garage inside.
Yeah.
You got one?
Jake,
Okay.
No questions, that's the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Carl. Jimmy.
I think I'm getting it. I'm okay. No questions.
Just consider it colonial, second floor you want. There's a bathroom,
And a picture of the
bedroom.
house.
Yeah, good idea.
You don't even have, just
So,
hold it up from there, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
bring it
I don't
over,
know if you
whatever.
can see it, it's on the town record.
Yeah.
I got it, okay.
It's just,
Yep.
it's basically right up here. That's
Yep.
the main house, the garage.
In a
An
squash
apartment
pad,
over
right?
the garage type thing, yeah.
Nothing down there but deer.
My dad's my neighbor,
Yeah.
Is anyone in the audience want to speak or favor or against? Okay. Bob? Bob,
Keep
Bob,
that.
sure. Hi.
Good evening. I'm Anna Butter. I've been
What's your
notified.
name, Bob? For the
My
record.
name is Bob Brady.
Yeah.
And my property address is 52 Great Neck Road. So I abut enough to be notified. And so the first concern I had was not with the applicant, but more about the notice. And that was that at lot, not 18 lot, I'm not sure if you said 1000A2, I think it's 1002A, but regardless, I believe the zone is R30, while your notice suggests it's.
R130. But that's what the notice says.
The notice is improper, is what I'm telling you, according to your own zoning maps. And in R30, relative to R130, a two-family, if that's in fact what he is applying for, is allowed. A two-family in R130 is not allowed. So, if I'm correct and you guys have the maps, then sadly, all of this is for naught. Regardless, more importantly, well, not your jurisdiction, it's about wastewater. If in fact I'm correct and it's R30 and it's allowed so as to
You should
allow
know.
the flow with whatever is in the ground, which I don't necessarily know, but certainly the town of Wareham should know. So I'm here only to point out that, thank you for the notification, yet I don't believe the notice was proper. Unless the zoning map in the town of Wareham and on the board in the halls of the town are not correct, this zone is R30. Because my property adjacent is also R30.
Let me,
And I happen to know that.
you see, through you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know what Great Neck Road is.
Okay?
starts, it used to be Mayflower Bank, or it's a credit union now, and it goes all the way up, and there's a dead man's curve on it, and then it keeps going up all the way.
At Dead Man's Curve, Squaw's Path goes left, and
Oh,
Rick
that's-
goes right.
It's Squaw's Path,
There we are.
the dirt road,
Yes,
and it goes into
all the way to Onset.
the doctor's property and all the way back out to Onset, if you've ever, okay, now that's what I was trying to figure out, where the heck. I knew the name, but I couldn't,
Well, regardless, the zone is R30 as
yeah,
well.
no, that's, I was listening to your testimony, and I was,
All right, just for the, go ahead, Bob, sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I'm here thankfully having been notified, yet the town of Wareham should know it's not zoned R130, it's zoned R30. And so in that, a two-family request, provided that outside of your arena, it meets Board of Health regulations relative to waste flow. Regardless of kitchens, it's more about bedrooms, as you all should know.
Accessory apartment, which is
While I've
illegal.
seen and heard you cross that line a couple of times already tonight, his application, if
We
in
didn't,
R30,
if
is
let-
allowed.
right, we didn't
Can I
cross.
interrupt,
Yeah,
please?
yeah, if I'm, 1 second, please.
Okay.
We didn't cross the line. Any application, when we grant them for septic system, if you're talking about, they're gonna have to go to the commissioner, to the building inspector, and of course, the Board of Health has to sign the building permit. When the Board of Health sign the permit, they look at the plan. If it needs the septic increased, believe me, they'll make them increase it. So it's irrelevant what we grant has nothing to do with us, with the Board of Health. It take its course, it will take its course and get taken care of with the Board of Health. Just for the record, I want to say that the building commissioner, Dave Pequina, just joined us, and go ahead, David.
Okay, so just to clarify, it is an R30 district. When I wrote the letter, the assessor's database has it down as an R130 district. But in this situation, this isn't a question of whether it's a two-family. This is an additional dwelling unit within an existing dwelling unit,
Yeah.
which our bylaw classifies that as an accessory apartment.
Right.
Accessory apartment, whether it's the R30, R130, R60, across the board, is not permitted. So it's a use variance in any district that it's in.
and it's R30, not MR30.
It's R30. It's in the R30 zoning district, but it's still a use variance.
So, I guess the assessor have to fix that maps.
Well, with all due well, no, they don't. They really don't, because the maps are correct.
No.
But with all due respect, when you look at your allowances relative to this notice, which is section, and I don't have it in front of me, I should have brought my notice, 2 sections of the zoning bylaw,
Right.
the two-family, all right, whether
This isn't a two-family, it's an accessory apartment.
Okay,
Listen.
I was just gonna say, whether added to the structure or within the structure is allowed in R30.
No,
No.
it's not.
So, you have your zoning bylaws, I have to
Yep.
assume yes.
It's allowed in the MR30.
It's allowed in R30.
Two-family is, but what they're saying is that this is an
Apartments and-
accessory.
No, I hear that, and I've never seen identified in your zoning bylaws
If you have the foot.
that accessory is different from
I hear you.
second unit.
All right, yeah.
It's still a two-family.
It is allowed if you have the square footage and the frontage, you're right.
Okay, so this lot is
Right,
1.94
David?
acres.
In R30?
Accessory apartment is not the same as a two-family, I want to be clear. Our bylaw distinguishes them individually. The accessory apartment is its own use in the accessory table of our bylaw, and it is not a permitted use in the R30 zoning district.
You get that? Try
Well,
one.
I hear-
on the
I hear
first
that.
page.
I
Page 13.
respectfully apologize
That's okay.
if I'm
Believe me.
misreading
I didn't even know
the
this
allowance.
myself.
Right, hold on.
I will clarify.
But
So
you posted in having a hearing and.
Bob? I will clarify if you let me finish. If you go to the first page under residential uses,
Are you
all the way
following
at the
him,
bottom,
Basil?
it calls out a one-family, a two-family, and et cetera, it goes on. Now, the accessory use table on the back, on the very last page, calls out accessory apartment, and it shows you across the board that is not permitted. In any district, correct.
But it's two-family,
Yes.
Yes.
In some districts.
that seems contradictory
Where's
in
the,
itself,
where's
but regardless, that's
the
an
definition of
internal thing.
two-family as
I'm
opposed to
guessing
accessory?
This is definition of accessory apartment in 3. If you
I
continue.
see that one, but is there a definition for two-family? It's in
I'm
terms of
not-
how is it
I'm
really
not sure.
distinguished?
And how is it different from an accessory apartment? But regardless, I only point out that I've been notified as an abutter. I know the fact is
I got
it's
found
not within R-130. And in that, whether you call it a two-family or an accessory or whatever, I'm hearing for the first time, and I apologize, I didn't look at the very back.
It's only allowed in the
I see a
general-
different designation for accessory.
It's only allowed in the general commercial zone, accessory apartments.
Okay, so somebody made the determination that this is not an in-law apartment or an accessory, and instead, or it's not a two-family now. And the only real issue I think Wareham has to concern itself in this regard is, while I hear you loud and clear about the accessory component, is whether or not Title V will accommodate the use.
Kinda have to.
Which again, I think out of this zoning board's jurisdiction. But I only came here to, one, clarify, one, it's not R-130 as I was notified. As an abutter, I know it's not. And two, that I think it's an allowed use, and so I would support the improvements that he's applying to make to his property, of course, subject to
This
meeting
says,
all the other criteria. And
this
and
says
I'll
R30.
leave it at that.
I'd like to make a
I didn't
comment.
read accessory
No,
or.
that's fine. If it were two, just to be clear, if it were two individual
That came in the paper.
dwelling units with their own entrance and exit that were apart from one another, they could be attached, but completely separate dwelling units, that would be a two-family. In this case, it's a dwelling unit, it's an additional dwelling unit from within an existing unit. It's accessible from the existing unit, and that's where it's different. You can get to the accessory apartment from within the existing home. And that's why it's not a true two-family.
For my own clarification, can a person with an accessory apartment collect rent for that accessory apartment
I believe
from a
they can.
non-family member?
I believe they can.
Okay.
Unless you put, if it's existing,
No,
but
you can't.
if you create it and put a restriction, he can't,
Okay.
right?
I'm not sure.
I
you have
don't know
that
the reality of that, I'm not gonna speak
But
to that.
regardless,
But then,
in absence of plans, right, because I was notified of a hearing relative to a zoning issue or a variance to allow the use for a second dwelling unit. Now, when I read second dwelling unit, I see that as a two-family.
An additional.
Second dwelling, okay. So regardless of entrance and exit and all of that, and the abutters are not provided with plans, and I'm not even sure, are there any plans that exist in Town
30.
Hall for this application?
All right, thank you for your point. I'd like to bring something into the record. No, I'm not saying shut up. I think that at this point, it's appropriate for the board to determine that there may be a defect in the public notice, and to best serve the applicant, maybe the public notice needs to be re-given.
Re-advertised.
Re-advertised, you know, in the light of the fact that I'm looking at the application, and the application's filled out properly, it says R30 on the application by the applicant's hand. So it looks like whoever put the public notice out made what we call a scrivener's error, if I'm using the right words.
But
So-
is notice that goes to the right people of identifying the right issue to be considered, but with an error as to the district, is that defective notice?
I don't know.
Effective notice.
I don't know, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
If it's not defective, if we can make a decision, fine. If somebody could come in and say, ha, I caught you, you got a bad public notice because it says 130 instead of 30, and challenge it.
court, yeah.
and goes to court, and put this guy through more misery than we would by making him come back in another meeting. I'm just suggesting, let's do what's right for the town and the applicant.
I don't think the applicant should have to pay again.
No, I agree with that. I don't think I don't think anybody should ever have to pay for somebody else's mistake.
So we continue this until the 10th and send out a new notice?
Can it be sent out in time to get him back on the 10th?
I think
Has to
we
be
would have to,
14
we
days.
would have to conclude this,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
start anew if that's what we're doing, right? You
I don't
can't
know, and
just
I don't
hold
even-
on to this one while you renotice it, can you?
I don't,
Withdraw.
It won't go in till next week.
Yeah?
do we make him withdraw? I don't want to make him
But
do
you'd
that
have to
either.
withdraw it and start all over if you're gonna go that way.
I think we just need to re-notify the neighbors in case, I don't know, you know, is somebody gonna come in the future and say to this guy, ha, I got you on a technicality?
I mean,
and
nobody's gonna find the right
Mother has
legal
to go live in a
answer to that
motel
question
until we
tonight,
finish
so-
this in court, or, you know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my name's Kenneth Morris, and I am actually the only direct abutter to the proposal. Really see no reason why we did have to continue the re-advertise the hearing. We're in R30 zone, the lot is 2 acres. I think the only issue here really is the accessory apartment. I don't think the R30 or
See, there's
the
1, 2,
R130 is the issue.
3, 4, 5.
So are you in favor or against?
I am in favor of the project, sir, but I want to explain why. When my son built this house, as he stated earlier, this accessory apartment is accessible from the existing second floor of the existing house. It was designed specifically for a family member. I can assure you, if you want to condition this plan to the hill, this apartment is never going to be a rental. This was specifically set up for a family space. That's why there's no entrance from the outside. There's no direct entrance from the outside of the structure. You have to go inside the house to access this
Right.
apartment.
We did grant those before, and we're not saying we're not granting it or we against it.
Okay,
I mean, we just this issue came out. I agree, R130, R30, everybody get a notice.
Basically, only
If he goes to court, it's his problem, if somebody,
there's only 3 people that were notified.
Yeah.
Myself and Bob Brady is really, he's in a butter, 2 in a butter.
right?
And the other abutter that was notified is also in a butter, 2 in a butter. I'm the only direct abutter.
Well, and
Three, 300.
a variance, you have to do an abutter to an abutter, or 300 feet. Okay, I would say we just continue with it, and it's his loss if somebody appeal him. Don't you agree?
It's really up to you, sir, honestly, if you wanna.
You
take
wanna
the risk.
continue it like this, and if somebody appeal you, they appeal you.
What
Then
what
just,
they're saying is there's a defect in the notice, we don't know, we can't tell you today whether that defect is something that would entitle someone to challenge this later, and that the risk that you're, assuming going forward is that the possibility that someone could.
I'm not worried about that.
Okay.
all right, Charlie, just go ahead, Charlie.
Just information for the record. In addition to staying R130 zoning district, the letter from Mr. Requena, and I suspect the notice is the same, it identifies the location as 8 Squaws Path. It also identifies the map and the lot number,
Yeah.
which if you try to find in map 18 up in the R130 district.
He wouldn't find it. He wouldn't find it, right?
So just as added information that, except for the R130 along, the notice information as to where the location is, it seems to me supersedes the R130 notice.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more accurate with respect to its location. Whether that helps or not, I'm just offering it.
I'm glad it was brought to our attention. This has to be corrected, you know, but we can't get notice, you know, of what zoning district it's in if it's the wrong zoning. I understand that.
The only other thing I would say, that if there was a concern over whether the allowances in the R130 were different than what they are in the R30, that might confuse the issue a little bit. But if the accessory apartments are not allowed in any district without
It's the same.
variance, then it
It's the
doesn't make
same,
a difference to
right.
me. I'm not an attorney, so I'm just offering it for hopefully added information that may help the applicant a little bit.
All right, so I guess we'll continue. All right,
Well, he doesn't, he doesn't have to, he can.
We're not, when you say we continue, you mean continue this evening?
he said he doesn't care.
Or you want to continue with the hearing tonight?
You want to continue with the defective notice if somebody appeal you, it's,
Sure, yeah.
he'd like to finish,
I
so.
make a motion, we close the public section of this hearing.
I second that.
Second to close. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion.
I'd make another, okay,
Go ahead.
discussion. I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to grant special permit as,
Variance.
I'm sorry, I make a motion to grant the variance.
Use variance.
I second that.
Okay. Any discussion or condition, oh, I can't grant a condition, can't put conditions.
You can put conditions on a variance.
Okay, oh yeah, all right, so we're just gonna put a, I recommend a condition, if the house is sold, we can't make him to the kitchen, but it would be sold as a one family without an accessory notice, and after 100 years, I hope, when the in-laws passes,
So your
can
condition is
dismantle
that
the kitchen, but,
the house remains a single-family home. It's-
correct. And it's only to be used by a family member.
I don't know if that, we can put that kind of condition.
You might have,
You
you
would
might
so.
have.
That's just my 2 cents for the record.
He's gonna.
Yeah, because, you know, what if
We
he
could-
wants to take in a foreign exchange student
Yes.
from Lebanon?
That's fine,
Or China, or
that's fine.
Zimbabwe,
Okay, but it will be strictly for the owner of the house. If it's
Right.
sold, it'll be useless. All right? How's that?
Can you make some findings as well, the use variance?
Yeah, we can make some findings. The property cannot realize a reasonable return under the use permitted zoning district.
It's not allowed, though.
And the hardship flows to the unique characteristic of the property. The proposed use will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood. And the hardship has not been self-created. It's existing. It's not self-created. How's that?
Mr. Chair, can I just add that if you grant a use variance, it runs with the land and not with the owner?
Yeah. I don't think he's going
So-
anywhere.
accessory apartment granted, if they sell the house, it's still got an accessory apartment.
We still put.
Still
the
not a multifamily.
We still put a condition that only for the owner. We'll record it this way. I mean, whoever buys it can fire it. Right?
Okay. That's my motion.
I second it.
Well, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose,
Opposed.
abstain, 410.
One.
Carries.
0.
See you later.
Thank you.
20 days. Was it 20 days?
Yeah. Kenny, what happened to you when you were on the planning board? You disappeared. 25 years ago.
Priscilla. This is
Oh, boy.
West Path.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Hey, Derek. How are you? Right. Okay. Continue public hearing, Blue Wave Solar, 39-17, 40-17, 41-17, 42-17.
So all the continued hearings, A, B, C, D, and E, are all the same petitioners in front of us at the same time, correct?
Yeah.
Did you sign these guys?
I don't have it. I just stopped
They didn't put the little flags in there tonight, so they're trying to confuse us. It's, we're gonna get a wet noodle and we're gonna whip somebody with it.
Yeah, I hope you do.
You hope it's me? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I'll stand in line too.
You'll stand in line to do that? I want everybody to hear that on the record, that Wilma would stand in line to whip me.
Oh, coffee.
Long line, Wilma. I hope you've got a lot of patience.
Do you
Thank
think
you.
I have?
Yeah, yours too. Eight scores path, eight scores path. Has everybody signed that thing yet?
Huh?
Yes, sir.
2 copies of the revised plans.
I got two. Do the same things?
Yeah.
Okay.
You taking signing lessons from Wilma here? This is taking an awfully long time.
All right. Public hearing open. Floor is yours.
For the record again, my name is Rich Circuit, my wife is Amy, this is right, Mr. Barlow. The third item is Richio. And Richio is going to be by January 8th. So what happened?
Okay.
Good evening. There was a number of legal issues that we had following the previous meeting that we have been working with Mr. Rowley and the planning department on
That's
regarding
an access road.
some of the outstanding comments. So I'll just get right into those. The first issue we had discussed at the previous meeting was the access to the site. We have since developed a design plan to provide a 20-foot wide access easement, access over the existing easement with temporary construction easements for grading purposes only, 10 feet on either side of that existing easement, which
I got a copy of that already.
towns
Right here. Isn't this it?
to execute as necessary. We have provided 20 feet wide fire access lanes around the entire site. This plan here has been submitted to the fire department, and they have approved this as meeting the requirements for access. They do another full review of these when the building permits get applied for.
So they were okay with that 20 feet?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as we provided 20 feet to them, they were happy. The site plans before you, they have been revised to meet the 50-foot setbacks around the arrays on all sides to the fence line, as required by the new solar bylaw. This is an overview of that. I can go individual sheets if you look at that in front of you there. The other.
If I may, to my eye, it looks like it's more than 50 feet in some places, is that? Okay, thank you.
The panels themselves are at least 70 feet from any property line. The bylaw requires 50 feet of vegetation to the fence lines, which we're providing. We have revised and updated the decommissioning reports based on Mr. Rowley's comments and the discussions at the previous meeting. Reviewed them in comparison to other estimates that have been provided and approved by the board, and I believe we've come to an agreement on the numbers. Mr. Rowley does have a letter in here that he agrees with the decommissioning estimates that we provided. The other issue that we had talked about was the view from Route 25. He did prepare additional view studies and profile views with the topography that we had discussed at the previous meeting here, blended into the design topography that shows the rise in grade along the Route 25 frontage of the property. Also have the view studies, which were very similar to the one that I had submitted previously. In addition to doing this, we did add some additional notes on the plans about the procedures we'll have to follow to clear vegetation between the fence line and Route 25. During the vegetation clearing, they're not to clear any trees outside the fence until an inspection is done by a representative of the the town with us, so we can go over exactly what's gonna be cleared and what may need to be supplemented with additional vegetation in the field, whether it's additional plantings or an earthen berm, or something to that effect.
So you wanna see, before you clear, just, so you wanna see, Charlie, you were concerned about from the highway, you could see the panels.
Yeah, we discussed what would be essential to make sure that you don't see those panels. And during a meeting with Ken and with representatives of the proponent, we decided that one way to do this would be to allow the array field to be cleared, but that anything beyond the fence line would not be cleared until we had gotten out there to see exactly what trees would really impact the field in terms of shadows. I did ask the question about the shadowing on the plan. What is it based on? And it was based on trees that are 50 feet high. If there are trees that are 50 feet high, it's my recommendation that those individual trees could be cut. However, anything under that should be subject to an investigation or an inspection after the clearing of the array area is done, so that we can maintain as much of that natural vegetation as possible between the fence and Route 25. And they seem to be amenable to that, and Mr. Riccio has implied that with what he has said here. So, in my letter to you, which I had to give up my copy to Ken and then give it to Rich so he could see, I had put in there a recommendation as for a condition that be made a part of your conditions of approval.
December 13. Okay,
Okay,
which-
sorry.
your panel, they direct it to the west, right?
So, they run east-west, but yeah. they put
Okay.
it east-south.
So the trees in here, it doesn't hurt them.
The trees on this side would be the ones that would shade.
They would, but,
Yeah, the shade goes, I can show you.
okay.
Thanks.
These are the shade sprays of 50-foot trees on where
Okay.
we're not clearing anything beyond that at all. As you bring the 50-foot trees this way, obviously that starts cutting into.
So your panels, they face the other way. So the sun, where is the west?
West is here, so they face this way. The panels are, we're looking at the panels from the street. So when
Oh,
you're coming up to one
yeah,
side, you're gonna be seeing.
okay. So I thought that was the opposite.
No,
So-
you could see the face, the panels.
Okay.
We feel with the grading and the vegetation that's there, you most likely aren't gonna see many of them.
Yeah.
But we won't really be able to tell that until we clear.
Yeah.
And we've talked it over with the construction people, and what could be done is, we clear down and clear this side here, and then we could make that inspection while this tree clearing's going on, so it wouldn't really.
So the other two sides doesn't matter, but,
No, it's
yeah.
really just, this is really the only visual impact we had.
Right, but that's what affect the panels from the sun, right?
Exactly.
Unfortunately, all right, okay.
So we did add some notes to that effect on the revised plans as well, that the contractor would contact the town, and inspection would be done during the tree clearing process. Subsequent to our meeting with your board, we did go before the Conservation Commission again. They did close their public hearing and vote to issue orders of conditions for all 4 projects. Like I said, I did receive Mr. Rowley's letter from this evening with these recommendations. We take no exception to the recommended conditions here. Just pretty standard information, and there's nothing of note that we feel is
Okay,
detrimental to the project.
on the for the fire department, so the easement's 20 feet, so how much gravel they want?
We're providing 20 feet of gravel, and then we're providing a temporary construction easement beyond that to make the grades work, so we still have 20-foot gravel width.
So you're
That
gonna
whole corridor.
encroach on town's property on each side to fix it, right?
Yeah, you have a copy of this plan as well. Right here. So this solid black line is the 20-foot easement.
Yeah.
We're building the gravel out to 20 feet. They only need about 10 feet on either side to make the grades work back up. That would be loaned and seeded as an estimate to restore it. Provide improved access to the site. We're also gonna make sure that the town does have a path that cuts across this drive here. We'll make sure that it matches into that. They can provide continued access to the other side of the road.
Charlie, remember last time you had concern going on a property, a town's property, to the grading from either side?
It's my understanding that they will discuss the issue with the Board of Selectmen, and that one of my recommendations was that they receive approval to grade outside that 20-foot easement on the town property, both from the Board of Selectmen, and that they meet with Dave Menard to make sure that he's happy with it. I have no problem with that, so long as they get the proper authorization. The only other issue with respect to the access road, in looking at the plan, the most easterly half of it, starting from the middle, which is the high point, pretty good steep grade going down toward the east. So my recommendation was that they add vegetated swales on both sides of that, just to maintain the runoff. Because once you widen that from 10 feet to 20, you've expanded the potential for erosion and so forth, if there isn't some protection. So as a part of the construction, if they would loam and seed those and put in grass swales on both sides of that road to contain the runoff, I'm happy.
So
No problem.
you're planning to go to the selectmen?
Yeah, I think we've had some initial discussions, Nancy, you can talk to that. And
Yeah, Derek, please.
Mr. Chairman, actually, on a town facility and such, it comes under the administration's purview, and I'm ready to grant them temporary license to expand and do the,
So you guys okay with that?
yes.
All right, and, the comments for, now, the decommissioning proposal, the decommissioning. You guys get proposals for that?
I did submit a copy of, there's 4 of them, one for each array, which I believe Mr. Buckland you have via email, and Mr. Rowley has reviewed as well.
How much add up to?
It was a chunk of change.
Roughly.
The 2 smaller arrays were 70 and 78,000, and then the larger, it was an 80,000 and almost 200,000 for the 4th one, so.
So what's the
No,
total?
this is in 20,
Close to $500,000?
in 20 years down the road dollars. I compared what we came up with to the array, Beaver Creek,
Right.
which was like 1.8 megawatts, which came out to be 70,000.
Right.
Our 1.8 megawatts, we came out around 78,000. And so it's close comparison to those.
That sound right, Ken?
Yeah, if you had the 25%
On
to
top.
the estimates.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand that.
And we also, for the other ones, we had an escalation review after a certain number of years.
After 5, I think.
5 it was, yeah.
After 5 years.
5 years to
Right.
review the estimate and readjust.
Okay. And that bond will be to the selectmen, I'm assuming, right? It'll be written to the, it'll be approved by the selectmen, right?
Right.
Okay, what else, Charlie?
I did put some additional comments in my letter about the decommissioning, that the cost of the items be reviewed every 5 years, that a copy of the recorded special permit be given back to this board for the file, that the former security needs to be approved by town council, automatically renewable with the town cited as a beneficiary of the security proceeds in the event of default. I put some items in there for calls for inspection, inspections for initial site clearing, grading of each location, stockpiling of loam and topsoil, which we are to understand is to be stockpiled on-site to be used if any of the sites are decommissioned, that same loam would be used to cover the site again, that there was no need to bring additional materials into the site, but it wouldn't be taken off the site either. It would be stockpiled there for that use in the future. The access road construction, initial clearing, grading and so forth, be inspected, loam and seed. The ray fencing, gates, turning areas, final cleanup. That's all a part of the inspection procedure.
For that purpose, I might add, we'll need the additional money for the 53G account.
The 53G is already open, right?
It's already open, and we'll just need
They're
additional
gonna keep
funds for
feeding
the
it. They're gonna
inspections.
just gotta keep feeding it as requested,
And I
correct?
believe the estimate was 850 for inspections.
Okay, you guys don't have a problem with that, right? All right.
The only other thing I put in there, other than what we've talked about with respect to the Route 25 clearing, was that the gravel access roads be constructed as approved in the plans and to the satisfaction of the landowners with respect to their operation of their cranberry bog business. So we don't want to see that be interference, but I'm assuming that they have agreements of some sort between the two parties, and that it would be good, I think, for the town's benefit to know exactly that everybody's happy with it, that a copy of that be presented to the file. So that's all in the
That's
letter
all in
which I
the
wrote
letter.
today. Right.
So you okay with this to talk to the Cranberry people? I guess you represent them, don't you? So you guys good with that, right? All right. Let's just go to the audience. Anyone want to speak in favor? Sir? Against? Okay, anyone in favor? Mr. Sullivan, Town Administrator.
Chairman, thank you, members of the board. I'm coming tonight because there have been some concerns, if you will, about taking down trees and such. And I look at the overall impact for the community. Right now, our average single-family tax bill is a little over $2,900. This project annually, throughout the duration, generate roughly $300,000 for the community. That is similar to about 100 houses today. There's really no impact to our services. So this is probably one of the lowest impact projects we'll ever see come before the community. And that's, when I look at it, the overall benefit for us, it outweighs, much more. The location and the usability. We also have lands coming out of chapter land, coming back onto the tax roll. So when I look at it, which is probably why you actually heard me say yes to something earlier about the roadway, where I usually don't say yes to things. But I'm strongly in favor of this and believe it's going to be worthwhile and a great benefit to the community. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As I said last time, I know a lot of people don't like to see trees cut, but the renewable energy, you gotta do it, build it somehow. So you can't say I'm against fuel and drive an expedition. Just gotta get a ride, you know what I'm saying? Get a bicycle. So we do all use a lot of fuel in our houses and cars. It's gotta come from somewhere. So, sir, go ahead.
Yes, John Jeffen, 15 Long Beach Road.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to the whole project. When I was here,
Just turn that to you.
when I was here November 8th, I brought up the subject of how many trees were going to be cut. And you said that was something that should be discussed with the conservation. And I did appear at the conservation commission and I spoke. And I asked that same question, and the answer was that 39 acres of trees will be clear cut. 5 of those will be for 3 of the projects. And actually, 4 of those acres will be for 3 of the arrays. And 35 acres will be for 1 array. And that's the one I'm most concerned about. I asked at the Conservation Commission, did they do an environmental impact study? And they said that was not required. I then asked if the CUFR tree carbon calculator, CTCC study was done. That was brought up here when someone was talking about the impact of taking down trees. What that does is it measures the CO2 sequestration, and it also measures the impact on buildings and the energy that's saved as a result of having the trees there. That was not done as well. And they said that was not required.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Could you, I'd like to jot that down. What kind of, C something?
Yeah, it's a CUFR.
C-U-F-R.
It's done by the U.S. Forest Service, and that's their Climate Change Resource Center.
And do you know what C-U-F-R stands for?
Yeah, it stands for Carbon Tree, Carbon Calculator. It's a CTCC study. And it's done on the individual trees and the impact that they do. You know, we breathe
Okay.
oxygen, we give off CO2, and the trees take in the CO2, and give off oxygen. So there's a benefit to having trees, and generally when there's a lot of pollution going on, what they do is they require those companies that are doing that to plant trees, and here we're taking them down. At any rate, at that meeting with the Conservation Commission, I did a little research on blue wave solar to find out about them. And I looked to see who their principals were. And the chair and one of the co-founders is John DeVillers. And if you read his biography, he is a man who walks on water when it comes to the environment. And he's a clean energy, and he's an environmental professional. He's a senior fellow at Harvard University. He was the Secretary of the Environment for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He was the chair of the Water Resources Authority in Massachusetts, and he was the chief operations individual for the Governor Michael Dukakis. In 1993, he was the New England Administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and he was appointed by President Clinton. And I could go on and on. He has a lot of credentials. And what I did at that meeting is I appealed his professionalism, and now I'll ask, did anybody that was here when I made that appeal contact Mr. DeVillers?
So he's saying he owns that company?
He was co-founder and chairman.
Of this company, for Blue Wave?
Yeah, and they have.
So I guess he's the right person for the environment, so.
I would say that, okay, but I appeal to his professionalism because he's an environmentalist.
Okay, but let me,
And
let me, for 1 second, none of us, I believe, is a chemist, anyone of you is a chemist? None of us, however, as a regular citizen, an observer, it seems that you want the pie and eat it. It seems to me that you want the pie and eat it too. Let me explain to you. If I to put, for all these panels, just think of it this way. The amount of electricity that they produce, if I take this amount and say, okay, I want to get a generator to produce that much power, now the question falls, which one creating is more detriment to the environment? This is the question I want to get to. Is the generator that makes in this smoke or carbon monoxide or CO2, whatever it's making, is this more detriment or cutting the trees is more detriment? This is what I want to get to.
Well, there are alternatives to cutting down trees, and that's where the difference is, that's where I'm coming from. You gentlemen are the watchdog for the taxpayers and the residents of the town of Wareham.
We try our best
And
too.
when you look around the town of Wareham, we have just a wonderful town with great resources in terms of waterways and everything.
That's true.
we have. And when I asked if Mr. DeVillers was contacted, I didn't hear an answer.
Well, you have to ask your questions to the board. You can't,
Oh, okay.
I'll ask him if he contacted this
I'll
person.
ask the- Okay, I'll ask the-
Did you contact the owner of the company? I think he works for the company. He probably doesn't even know the guy. Do you know the person? Does any of you know the guy?
John does know about this project, yes. I report directly to John.
The guy who Clinton appointed, the one who's talking about?
Yes.
So I guess he knows.
Well, I
received your letter as well,
Excuse me?
again, ma'am, you
Yeah,
gotta,
just
you gotta talk to the
direct your
chair.
question, the answers
You
to
gotta
us.
talk to the chair.
Sorry.
As was just referred to, I wrote a letter to Mr. DeVillers. And in there, I offered some suggestions as to what could be done as alternatives.
Okay.
and I also copied the governor on it, and what I did was I included pictures, which I'd be glad to share with you and share the letter with you, if that's all right.
Sure, guy, what do you propose to do?
Well, I offered a number of suggestions that the town could do. I'll do this too, you should hand those out. And you said you'd seen the letter, I'm sorry.
Okay, so proceed, what's the suggestion? Just tell us what the suggestions are.
Well, there's, I didn't hand out the pictures. The pictures I have, let's see. Back there. Here they are. I didn't make enough copies.
So I understand what you're saying, using the rooftops, malls, which,
There's what they're doing at the Upper Cape Regional Tech. They're also doing it at Spalding. What they're doing is they're taking available area, and those happen to be carports.
okay.
And when you compare that with what was done at Toby Road, it shows a lot more imagination, and it also is more environmentally responsible in the sense that it is up and away from view from we discussed somebody else's concern about what a view is. I haven't heard anybody that I run in contact with, and there's an approach that has been used here. It's also being used at the, is in place at the Spalding Rehab Center in Sandwich.
So you recommend it to do it over parking lots, over malls, things like this, right?
That, and you take Wareham's, Wareham Crossing,
Right.
if you look at the space that's on the roof there that's not being utilized, if you look at the space that's on all the buildings that's 80 pieces put up and is planned, you'll go more.
But they don't own this property.
These were suggestions as avenues that could be pursued. You were asking about alternatives.
Sir, I think that I appreciate,
They are not as destructive as taking down trees and destroying habitat to generate electricity.
Let's
so
Jen.
I very much appreciate your input and your concern for the environment. I respect and share your concerns. I think, sir, though, that we're pretty limited. The Commonwealth and its infinite wisdom has limited us greatly in what we can do with respect to these projects. So, we can't really take any action based on any of these things you're saying.
So you're telling me
in all
that
honesty,
you
sir.
basically are powerless, that this is being dictated from the state legislature?
No, she didn't say that at all. You did.
Well, we can to a
I
point,
didn't say we're
yeah.
powerless, sir, but I would say we're powerless, but you're going into you're making some pretty drastic suggestions, and I don't know that.
I'm offering some
I don't know
alternatives.
that we have the authority to.
To a certain point, if I may, we are in cases like this, cases like this, cell towers, affordable housing, cases like this, we are kind of powerless to a certain point. It could go to state.
Did you read this morning's New Bedford Standard Times?
No, I didn't.
There's an opinion piece in there that I wrote that basically talks the same story that you're saying. Is that 40B basically, and what's going on here, parallel each other.
So to a certain point, we could work with it or go against it, but going against it, it's very pricey. And your suggestion, all the solar company doing, I think a lot of houses are doing, they use the rooftops, they use on roof of the malls. But in this particular case, these people are applying on this land just like everyone else.
I'm only here because of clear cutting.
I totally understand, but then again, we can't have the pie and eat it.
Well, I'm appealing to the fact that it's not an either or.
What kind of car you drive, if you don't mind me asking?
Excuse me?
What kind of car you drive?
I drive a 2004 Taurus and a RAV4.
So you don't drive a bicycle or a horse, so you use fossil fuel, right?
No.
So, you know what I'm saying?
What car do you drive?
I drive a Honda. Sucks a lot of gas, no question asked, but I don't sit down.
Is it an electric car?
No, no. You know, I'm not, I admit it, I'm not a tree hugger, but at the same time, I'm logical, I'm rational. And like I said again, how much carbon dioxide you create with the monoxide with the generator versus what the tree, the oxygen gives you. So that's what you wanna look at, and it's definitely, this is a.
Again, all I can do is appeal to you as the watchdogs.
Sure. Thank you.
To reflect what the citizens in the town of Wareham want, and when you do a survey of what was done on Toby Road, and you have the pictures there that show it backs right up to the trees that were taken down, and ask them what their opinion is, and I think you'll find it'll parallel what I have.
I understand, and also another thing, which is a plus to the town, as the administrator had mentioned, $300,000, zero fire department, zero police, zero school. This is net total 99% profit for the town, with no impact, zero impact, so.
And the profit from Blue Wave Solar is going to be given to the town, is that what I'm hearing?
It's a free enterprise. We are a capitalist system, so that could make $1 billion, good for them. I don't know what to say. You could do it, same, if you have land, go ahead and do it and make the millions too.
No, they're better capitalized now. They have $100 million they got to build solar fields and put in electricity in Massachusetts.
Oh, good for them. I wish I could do it, to be honest with you, but I can't.
It's a good organization. They're
You know?
well-financed, and they have the ear of the legislature and everywhere else. And I'm not saying they're wrong. All I'm talking about.
I totally understand. We do understand. We all like even though I'm not a tree hugger, but I do understand. Believe me, I buy a house. If you go see my houses, I have plants everywhere. I do like trees, but sometimes a lot of the trees I had to take down because they could fall on my house and ruin it. So sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
These trees aren't falling on your house.
No, but I'm just saying, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. The tree they taken, they replacing it with a very good thing for the town, for the environment, for everything. That's my opinion anyway. It's not the board, if each one could make their.
As I said, you're to represent not just yourself, to represent all of the taxpayers.
And I do, and I do my
I
best.
know you take that seriously.
We do. It's, well, point well taken. We'll see what the board say.
It's only the one array that I'm concerned about. I invested my own money in Evergreen Solar 10 years ago, and so I'm not anti-solar. And I see the benefits of it. I just don't see the benefit of clear-cutting trees and destroying wildlife habitat when there's other alternatives available. And thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Jepson. I have one question for you. How would you feel if the town decided to buy this land and prevent, let's say they're paying $1 million for it, and the town could buy it for $2 million to prevent the project?
Or $1 million.
Well, no, let me finish my question. And the only caveat would be that everybody in the town would pay double taxes. Would you be in favor of doubling everybody's tax to save trees?
I mean, for what it's worth, it is 9 o'clock at night.
Well, I'm asking,
I mean,
I'm
this
not
is-
asking the taxpayer base, I'm
I think we're
asking you.
getting off track here.
We
I
are.
really do.
So let's leave it right.
Respectfully.
All right, well, thank you. We'll take your point.
It's an interesting question, but I don't think it would double the taxes.
Oh, I wondered,
And I'm a taxpayer, so I'm sympathetic to that as well.
yeah.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Rowley, did you have something
Charlie,
to
yeah.
add?
Just a
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
correction of one point. That Route 25 array that we're talking about, that is a 38-acre parcel. However, according to the documentation, which is in all of your information that you have there, there's just under 20 acres, which is within the side, within the fenced area. So you're not cutting 38 out of 39 acres of trees, the best I can tell.
I'm only repeating what was said
All right.
by these gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Trying to correct the record.
So they count about 20 acres. All right. Okay, very good.
Thank you, sir.
Let's get back on track. All right, so, Mr. Councilor Serkis, right? So all these comments by Charlie, you guys gonna be addressing the decommissioning bond, the road. Okay, the only thing is, who's gonna go for inspection for the cutting? Charlie, you gonna be able to make it there when they cutting?
Let me just see what I put in here, so I can tell you for sure.
And one of us on the board.
Be made by the Board of Appeals and/or the board's representative.
Right.
So you could assign it to anyone to go out and...
One of us and maybe you?
If I'm still here, and I would be more than happy to do it on your behalf, but I put it in there that it would be made by
Okay.
the Board of Appeals and/or your representative.
Well, one of us would like, who would like to go with Charlie when time comes? One, two of us, I don't mind going.
Just call me.
Huh?
Just call me.
Okay, Carl will go, Jim will go, Jan, Wilma, we'll make a field trip. All right, at least one of us or two will go with you when time is, okay? You just guys let us know we go. All right, any other concerns we want to talk about? Kenny, do you have anything?
No,
All right. Anything you want to add? Charlie, David? Anyone on the board want to add anything? Anyone in the audience want to add? I hear none. I'd like to close the public hearing.
Please do.
So moved.
Okay, motion to close the public hearing by Jim. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain. It's closed. Now the wishes. What do we get for an application? Is it up here?
You want that?
We need it tonight.
What's before us? Is it a variance? Is it a special permit? What is it? That'll do it.
I'll just say that I'm more than happy to prepare a draft decision.
Probably be a good idea.
You can have-
All right, why don't we do this? Okay, let's make a motion. If someone has a motion to grant based on the draft decision by the counselor, we could do this motion to grant or deny, whatever the board likes.
Based on, say that again?
You could, if you want to make a motion to grant, we'll have the counselor make a draft, we'll review it before we sign it.
Yeah, I'll make that recommendation.
Okay, so we make so a motion to grant with recommendation that the council make a draft decision?
Yes.
Okay, that would be okay, right? We could,
Make a motion to grant.
as long as you have that review of the...
right, we're gonna review it and
I-
sign.
Do we need to have review of the draft before we vote on
No.
accepting the draft?
Well, we don't sign it if we don't like it. We make a condition.
You want to continue until we have a chance to review the draft? Would you?
I mean, just realistically and logically speaking, we're voting to accept something we haven't read. So we have a vote on the record to accept something that we haven't read. I don't know if you can later
Okay.
withdraw that vote. I don't,
If the motion were made to grant the special permit subject to review in agreement with the terms of the written decision.
that
Right.
makes sense.
Okay, we could do this. So. So Jim, Jen,
So moved.
so moved.
One question?
Yes.
Does it make sense to keep the hearing open so that you can have a dialogue between the proponents and
We
yourself?
already closed it.
Yeah.
We
is
closed it.
Okay,
We closed it, yeah, we just closed it.
all right, fine.
Okay,
So the dialogue will be between staff and...
right. So based on reviewing the draft. Okay, so motion to grant by Jim. Or who wants to make the motion? Why don't you do it? The language of the attorney, what he said.
What,
Motion to grant
oh,
with the, based on reviewing the draft.
I'll make a motion to grant the special permit subject to review and approval of Attorney Serkis' draft decision.
Okay, I would like to add to be reviewed by town planner, town engineer, and the board. If you don't mind Charlie reviewing it, David, if it matters, if you don't care, if you don't mind, and Kenny, so, and we will. So the four of us will come to an agreement. I don't have a problem with it. Do I have a second in Jen's motion?
Somebody seconded it. I'll second it.
Second by Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye? Jen?
Aye.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't vote on it. It was Jake who opened that case, so Jake. Jake is in. Okay, so 500. Thank you, anyway. Because he was here when we opened that case.
Oh, wait, I don't think we've signed yet. So, yeah,
Correct.
Yes. And what? Right. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and the sooner you get that thing drafted, the faster we sign it.
When will you be meeting next?
On the 27th. We're gonna discuss it if we're gonna meet. If we're not, if you just email it, we'll just review it and stop by and sign. Each one of us go by after review.
I will email it to you within a matter of days.
Okay, and if you guys don't mind, Jake, Jen, Carl, myself, and Jim review it and go by and sign?
Shouldn't
If
you
you're
take a
okay with
vote?
it?
Shouldn't you take a public vote on it, though, on the approval of the final draft?
Well, we said each one, you wanna make a public, like a public, like a
I would think you'd do
majority
it in your
vote?
meeting time. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's gonna go through 27 then. But we did agree if it's okay with the board, so if each one of us review it and sign it,
That's our approval, but
do you wanna make it on a public hearing, we'll do it.
All I'm suggesting is that it's an open forum, and at least you've got the discussion amongst yourselves in case there's something that doesn't get
somebody
transmitted through an
brings
email.
something up or something, gives everybody a chance.
All right, we'll bring it on the 27th if we meet, if we don't, on January 10.
And will you distribute that via email?
Oh, of course, I just asked Mr. Rowley to send me his letter by email. I will send it to Mr. Rowley, Mr. Buckland, Mr. Aquino by email, and they'll distribute it to you.
Could I ask if you would, to send it by postal mail to one number?
Just them two?
What would you
Just
prefer,
them two?
postal mail? In the past, you preferred postal over email. You getting what I'm saying? Do you want it in the mail, or do you want it on your computer? Huh? Talking to you.
You guys, well, if it's coming before us, excuse
Well,
me.
if you don't have a computer, would you like it in the mailbox? Okay.
All right, it's good, we're gonna discuss it next hearing anyway, so we'll discuss the draft on the 27th. Carl, 1 second.
On the 27th?
All right.
Will you be meeting?
I don't know. Who ca, Carl, you gonna come on 27?
I will
Yes.
most definitely be,
Jen.
I will be out of the state.
Out of state?
Yeah.
Jake? You'll be here? Jim?
I'll be out of my mind, but I'll be here.
Okay, I'll be here. You gonna be here?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, we have enough people.
Okay.
Out of the state.
And by that time, the email will have traveled to all of you, so.
Correct.
So that
And then we'll discuss it here.
you could then sign it at when you could.
Yeah.
When you, thank you. Jen, when you be back?
Midnight, just before midnight on the 27th.
Oh, the same day?
Yeah.
All right, but why don't you, all right, so you review it, we'll discuss it, you go the next day and sign it. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You have a good night. Good luck. Good luck.
Oh, for the folder.
Good project, I think.
Email?
All right, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Please.
By all means. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oppose, abstain. Closed.